I am a little nervous to do this video because I know some of you probably will disagree with me, and all the more reason why I need to do this video. I watched The Sound of Freedom yesterday, and I encourage everybody to go see it. They are actually asking people to take the baton. I believe in the power of storytelling, and I believe in the power of healing through storytelling. That is the entire reason I was ever an actress, stand-up comedian, and why I am an acting coach and life coach now. Because I believe in the power of storytelling and bringing awareness to victims, survivors, thrivers, and also people who have no clue that this stuff goes on in the world, so that hopefully you don't fall victim to narcissists, to emotional abuse, or worse. What I'm witnessing with The Sound of Freedom from a lot of mainstream media outlets is narcissistic abuse at best and sociopathic behavior at worst. Because anybody trying to defame and gaslight people who are not only saving children, but bringing awareness to child trafficking, and instead of encouraging and supporting the people who are saving and supporting saving children, they are gaslighting by saying, oh, it's not that bad. And that's totally baseless. That is false. It is actual facts. This movie is based on a true story. I have had firsthand accounts of people who have been trafficked. I know people who have worked for the FBI who have rescued people in situations like this. Not only does this really happen, but the predators want to have mainstream gaslighting and defaming, because then they can continue on with what they're doing. So I know a lot of mainstream outlets are saying Jim Caviezel and Tim Ballard are connected to QAnon, which I don't think that that's even based in fact, because both of them have spoken about that. However, what they're speaking about is crazy. So what the mainstream media is doing is saying, oh, that's so crazy, that doesn't happen. No, it's so crazy, and it does happen. And it's really sad. There are people out there harming children, and it's really sad. So the other thing is, even if they were attached to some conspiracy theory, if they're helping children and saving children from child trafficking, I don't care if they think the world is made of cherry jello. I mean, really, since when do we have to be lockstep with every single solitary belief of somebody in order to support children? That to me is crazy. If you don't support children, I swear to you, if they believed that squirrels were the best hairdressers, I'd go, fine, believe whatever you want. If you're saving children, I'm going to support the efforts in saving children, right? Because if we're lockstep in belief with every single thing a politician or an actor or an activist or FBI unit believes, that is a dictatorship. So by nature alone, they're trying to strip away your freedom of thought when you say, okay, maybe I'm not Catholic, but I still believe in saving children. Maybe I don't believe the world is made of cherry jello, but I still believe in saving children. So to me, it's asinine to say you have to be lockstep with anybody on all of their beliefs. Since when do we have to do that? This movie is eye-opening. They are asking people to pass the baton and share the news about this movie. Because not only are some people trying to stop this movie, defame this movie, and gaslight anybody who supports the cause, Operation Underground Railroad, and saving children's lives from being slaves, those people trying to stop it should be questioned, but they are trying to stop it. That is a fact. I went to see the movie yesterday, and I had heard some things that I even thought were like, okay, maybe we're getting a little far-fetched here. A lot of people saying that the movie theater was heated, or the air conditioning didn't work, or the sound didn't work, so they couldn't see the movie, and that AMC was trying to actually stop people from even going to the theater and seeing it because they had no idea that it would do so well, that you and me could support and spread the word about this, and that this movie would do so well. So now they're trying to block it on the back end. And I thought that sounded a little far-fetched until yesterday when I went to buy tickets. I tried to buy tickets online 3 times. The first time I clicked on Sound of Freedom, it rerouted me to Indiana Jones. I said, no, I want to do Sound of Freedom. So I went back, I clicked on Sound of Freedom. Then I went through the whole process, and then it wouldn't let me purchase. I have no idea why. I refresh, I try again, it still won't let me purchase. Fine. So I go to the theater. Nobody is in sight. There's not a worker in the lobby. You can't find a soul. This is a bi-level theater that I went to, so when you enter, it's just a sea of kiosks. Now, I get it, especially since the last few years, there are a lot of people who aren't working anywhere anymore. So I was like, well, maybe just a shortage of staff, which is what a lot of people are going through in businesses, right? So I'm like, okay, so it's the kiosk. I go to the kiosk, it still won't let me, but nobody's around to help. So I go to another kiosk, it finally let me purchase my ticket. So I go upstairs, the place is freezing. I always bring like a sweatshirt because I'm by nature cold, and I like to be hot. Actually, like right now, it's 1,000,000 degrees outside and I don't have my AC on because I actually prefer to be warm. I like that. So I normally bring a sweatshirt because it's normally freezing in the theater. It was freezing in the lobby. I go up, finally I see people, staff, there's a lot of staff, but they're all on their phones, not paying attention to anybody. I finally say to somebody, excuse me, do you work here? I'm trying to find where Sound of Freedom is. The guy, and he's a teenager, so maybe he's just out of it and not a very good staff member, but he's like, oh, I think it's, I'm not sure. You're not sure? Do you work here? He's like, I think it's in Theater 3. Okay, thanks. So I go into Theater 3. I'm in Denver, Colorado. I go into Theater 3. It's hot. Just like people had said, it is hot in there. I'm freezing all the time, especially in theaters. The lobby, freezing. The bathroom, which I went into, freezing. The theater, hot. I take off my sweatshirt, there's no AC in there. So these accounts of people saying that that's happening all over the country, it happened to me. Coincidence that it's happening in every single theater all over maybe not every single, but many. I don't know, you be the judge. Go see it and tell me if the theater's hot or not. I don't know, it was maybe just a crazy coincidence. Again, I was fine with that because I prefer it to be warm. So I watched the movie. As it's starting, I'm already crying because A, I know what it's about, and B, it sickens me because as an acting teacher who's taught kids and who's also been in this industry since I was little, I've seen a lot of this stuff. And I don't think I'm giving anything away when I say that the way they trafficked and have trafficked many kids is through the guise of like, do you want to be a model? I'm a modeling scout. Do you want to be an actor? And I'm disgusted by it because I am an acting teacher. I teach legitimate acting. And students have come to me, adults and kids, and they've said that they've gone to other places and they've said to them, oh, you can't do this if you have morals. I have one student, she's never sworn in her life because it's against her religion. She went to a lot of other acting classes and agents that said, oh, well, you'll never make it in this business because you have to swear. I said, no, you don't. There's just going to be different roles that you do. There are a lot of roles that you don't swear. And she's a tremendous actress. She said a lot of places told her she had to compromise her morals to do this job. Now, with a lot of the mainstream stuff, that's true. You do. And that stinks. So the first scene is the bright-eyed kids all excited to do acting and modeling, and the predator going, unbutton your shirt, do this and that, make yourself look sexy. They don't say that though. It's very covert. That's why this behavior is narcissism at best, sociopathic at worst. When you abuse a child, when you think that it's okay to have relations with a child, that is not okay. That is sociopathic. And anybody trying to normalize that should be questioned. So this movie is very eye-opening, and it makes me wonder why. Why does Hollywood want to shut it down so bad? When they support so much sexualizing of kids, and they're like, yay, that's a wonderful movie. If it's a kid dancing in booty shorts and they're 9 years old. Why is that okay? But a movie like this is not okay. Why did Rolling Stone do a hit piece on this movie and say that it's a hero movie for dads with brain worms? Why does CNN want to shut this down? These are questions that I encourage you to answer for yourself, to think for yourself. Go see the movie and you be the judge. Because this movie doesn't have a big marketing budget. And yet it's doing big numbers at the box office, which is really making some people very mad. Why? Why does that make them so mad? These are questions I invite you to ask and answer for yourself. Go see the movie and you be the judge. And anybody who thinks that this isn't happening, now that's just a blatant lie. This stuff does happen. And not only that, the United States is the biggest consumer of child porn. Can't even say that on YouTube, right? And yet we see it everywhere, and that's fine. But I can't say it and say that I don't approve of that. That's not fine. But if I approved of it, then that'd be okay. How does that make sense? How does that make sense? I see people falling victim to scams all the time. You have to pay thousands and thousands of dollars to learn absolutely nothing under the guise of, we can make you a model. Do you want to be a Disney star? Come down to this hotel and audition, and then have your parents give 20 grand to us, and then maybe you'll make it to the agency review. First of all, agents don't work that way. Any legitimate agent, by the way, takes a commission off of the work that you book. I have had countless students fall victim to these scams. And again, at best, you just lose a bunch of money, which I've seen families who have nothing try to put together the money for these things. And then they do. They're life-saving sometimes, working 2 and 3 jobs because they believe in their kid's dream. And then they just fall prey to this scam. And then a lot of them are funneled into that system and they learn nothing. That's one reason why I'm an acting coach, because I do believe that art heals. I do believe that the power of storytelling is huge and that it can heal and save lives. And I've worked with so much tremendous talent over the last 10 years as a coach and director. I feel truly blessed. But every time somebody's come to me from one of these machines, they have a bunch of bad habits, they're really insecure, their confidence is null, and they feel like they have to be overly sexual. And you don't. And I think the truth is now coming to fruition. And the people who don't want it to be that way are trying to gaslight and defame anybody saying the truth. I probably could have been famous, honestly, when I was in Los Angeles. I'm not even ready to name a name right now, but There's a big Hollywood producer that works in Hollywood right now. When I first came to Hollywood as a young 22-year-old girl, knowing absolutely nobody, I was doing some extra work like many people do. This big Hollywood producer who works on a lot of stuff that you would know right now today called an extra casting company looking for unknowns because he knew so many famous people. He didn't want a famous person. Should have been the first red flag. He didn't want a famous person because he wanted pictures of unknowns for this modeling book. And in exchange for working for him, you would get pictures and get to know this big Hollywood director or producer, right? I fell victim to it because I was hungry to work. So I meet this man at his home. He wanted to take pictures of me and I get free headshots, which, can be $500, $1,000 or more dollars. So as a young actress wanting new headshots, getting to meet a big producer who had a television show on a network television station at the time seemed like a cool thing. I go to his big fancy house, was a little nervous. It felt a little sketchy, but I did it. Next thing you know, he's wanting me to take off my clothes. I don't want to. He gets a little irritated. We finished out the session. It was a little uncomfortable, but we worked it out. I was not naked, but I did try to follow some of his direction against my own better judgment. I didn't take naked pictures, but it was stuff that I was very uncomfortable with. Got some pictures back, then he wants to do another photo shoot. Now he's ramping it up. So I did get some pictures. I did get a good headshot that got me in the door for some places, but he was dangling the, Hollywood like, oh, I'll take you to the set. I'll do this, I'll do that. So then the next thing I know, I'm in his Jaguar driving through the Hollywood Hills. He wants to do a shoot in his car. He asks me to do worse things that I didn't want to do. Now I'm trapped in his car driving through the Hollywood Hills. Terrified. I tell him, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And he's like, well, I thought you wanted to be a big Hollywood star. Anybody would do this. This is what it takes. I looked at him straight in the face. I said, but I'm not a PORN actress, first of all. And second of all, if I was to do some kind of relational scene where I had to kiss somebody or something, I would be on set with a lot of people there. My agent would be protecting me and I'd be getting paid. Right now, I'm in your car and I'm a little nervous, at which point he got very mad. He said, I guess you don't have what it takes. It was horrifying. I said, well, I have to go to the bathroom really bad. I lied. I said, I have to go to the bathroom really bad. Can we just drive down to the gas station? I was terrified. I didn't know if he was going to kill me or me. I didn't know. We drive down. He's very mad. He's telling me off, telling me I don't have what it takes, all this stuff. Maybe I'll release his name at some point because I hate to think that he's done this to other girls because he probably has. And other girls probably went further than I did because they thought they had to. Because they thought that's what it took. I have no doubt somebody like that would sell somebody. This stuff is real. It does happen. I made it away from that experience. I should have sued him. I should release his name now. And maybe I will. But see, this is what they do. They scare you. Because he's got a lot more money than I do. He has a lot more clout. He's very well connected. And it's easy. I'm seeing people be canceled. Friends of mine who are, big time now, I'm seeing them be canceled left and right. So this stuff does happen. They want to silence anybody now supporting children. No, I'm going to speak up and support children. If all I can do is to get you to go and see this movie, that's one way you can support. You can buy a ticket for somebody who can't afford it. Angel Films has a link where you can buy a ticket. I'll include it down in the description. And if in some small way that I can help by just saying, yes, this stuff happens. Yes, this movie is very good at exposing a lot of darkness in the world. And yes, I have not only come very close to these horrifying situations, but I've also known people who unfortunately have been inside of these horrifying situations. So these aren't baseless claims. Operation Underground Railroad has saved now 7,000 children. They have busted 6,500 pedophiles. And the United States is the biggest consumer. So you can help. This shouldn't be a political issue. This shouldn't be left and right. This should be a human issue. And we should all be concerned for innocent children. So please go see the movie. It's horrifying, but they do a great job at not making it graphic so that it whets the appetite of pedophiles, but you still know what happens, and it is so sick and so sad, but you can help. Make it a priority to go see this movie. I had just come home from my uncle's funeral, and I made it a priority to go see the movie. It is that important. So I hope you go see it. Let me know if you have seen it. And when you do see it, let me know in the comments what your experience was. Let's make the children a priority and not a political issue. Thank you. So much love to you.